Welcome to episode 141 of Outside the Circle, a podcast dedicated to new and upcoming country artists, musicians, and songwriters. Today's guest will be Charly Reynolds. We'll get to her in a little bit, but first, I'm Ronnie, and here's Brian.
What's happening, man? We are back at it. I'm looking forward to this chat with Charly. And as far as the Hopkins front here, as many of the folks know, I do a lot of bow hunting, and so this weekend the UBNJ, United Bow Hunters of New Jersey, had sponsored a mentor hunt. So we took out 4 brand new hunters, female, male, one in a wheelchair, and a couple of kids out to do their first ever hunt. Zero luck on everybody. So I think it was just too cold. It was too, the deer are so switched on right now. It's like the end of the season. So they're sick and tired of being chased around the woods for the last 4 months. But no, man, it was awesome. It was a good experience. And it's always nice to give back to the community in that way,
Yeah. So I got a couple things on that. So you said 4 people, and then you proceeded to name at least 6.
Nice.
So good math there on your end. But yeah, I mean, you can't have them. You can't have them hit the big score on the first outing. They gotta get through the grind first before they yield anything, right? It wouldn't be very fair to everybody who's put the work in to get there.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I know. I mean, if it weren't for last Monday, I'd have been a big goose egg for the season. So, but yeah, man, I mean, there are many times I've sat out there and got nothing. So that's exactly what I was saying to my mentoree was that, I was like, sometimes they just don't cooperate with us.
Yeah. While you're sitting out in the weather got a little better over here, I guess. It's still cold and snowy, but while you're sitting out in the forest and in the forest, that's a weird word to throw out there, but I don't think we have forests in New Jersey, do we? But while you're sitting,
the fact that I was like 150 feet off of like a main highway.
Yeah. But I did some Googling today, and so the release of this is Friday the 31st, and as people are listening to this, I will be on my way to Fort Lauderdale for 2. So I did that hockey trip back in October. This weekend we're doing 2 games on Saturday. Fort Lauderdale at 1 p.m. and then Tampa Bay at 4 p.m. So it'll be 81 degrees, and I am looking forward to that. Even though I'll be in the cold, I guess, in an arena, but it'll be nice to be in 81 degrees.
Yeah, Florida hockey. What an oxymoron.
Yeah, and they got the Winter Classic this year coming up, or next season. But they are doing it in the football stadium, which has a retractable roof. So if it is too hot, they are prepared to close the roof to keep the ice. But yeah, but you know what? Both teams are probably 2 of the best out there. So I mean, they're in what you're brewing, so I can't say too much. But
yeah.
but yeah. So it'll be a good couple weeks here. You get into the end of your season there, and we getting some hockey in, and then literally I'm going to like 4 games in the next 3 weeks. So it's about time I'm jonesing for some hockey. But we talked to Charly for this interview, and it was a good one, and can't wait for everyone to listen to it.
Yeah, we should go ahead and get her on.
All right, everyone, we're here today with singer-songwriter Charly Reynolds. Welcome to Outside the Circle, Charly. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, we're excited. It's been a busy couple months for you, going all the way back to September, which we'll dive into in a second. But we always like to start with the very generic. Kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how important music was in your household, things like that.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm from Orlando, Florida, originally. And I have been singing my whole life, honestly, from any genre. I loved Disney princesses growing up when I was little, singing all of that. And music was always on in our house. Like I said, it didn't matter the genre. We loved country. We loved Little Adele. I loved Hilary Duff growing up. Just really anything musical inspired me. I loved Broadway musicals as well. That was a huge thing for me too. And so I've really just been singing forever. And when I was about 7 or 8, Taylor Swift, when she was country, did like You Belong With Me, Tim McGraw, all that stuff, was like my favorite. And so loved singing Taylor Swift and kind of got more into country music because of that, or like that being my favorite genre, I should say. And then when I was 12, I saw Carrie Underwood on her Blown Away tour and was like, that's what I want. Like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. This is the coolest thing ever. And so I knew that music was what I wanted to do. So flash forward to like 17 years old. I was trying to figure out colleges, if I wanted to go to college, if I didn't. And if I was going to college, I wasn't going for music. That I did know. I was going to be a broadcast journalism major, to be like a news anchor, or I was going to move to Nashville and not go to college. So my family strongly encouraged me to move to Nashville and give this a go without college, just because I can always go back to college and do that. So, and I can't always move here. So I moved here at 18 right after high school and worked at Chick-fil-A for the first year, not knowing what I was doing at all. And yeah, I've been here almost 7 years now. So that's just a really quick overview of my life. But that's the kind of how it happened, how I got here.
No, I love that. And before our resident Taylor Swift junkie jumps
That's
on,
me.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I will say, I never got on the Taylor Swift bandwagon. Now, I don't need all the haters coming after me for that, but I will say the one thing that she did is she introduced so many young people into country music that,
Yeah.
before would have thought country music was just like, that's my grandfather's music. That's twangy. That's this, that's that, and everything like that. And then like the people that completely missed what 90s country was all about beforehand. And, no, I mean, I love that. And, I was in the same kind of boat. I went to college for basically soccer season and then realized that college is not for me, and went right into like a tech school and got into audio engineering and music. And I love that. I love the support system. I love them just being like, you know what, just go do it. Like,
Yeah.
college ain't going anywhere, but you got this time right now to chase the dream. So no, that's great.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for that, for sure, because I wouldn't have been able to do it, obviously, either at 18 years old without them being supportive of that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And we talk about that a lot too, the importance of a support system, not just family, but
Yeah,
family, friends, well, obviously
everyone.
relatives, family. Yeah. When you moved, did anybody come with you, or were you just on your own? Here's day one in Nashville. See you
Yeah.
later.
So my brother actually, he's older than me, he's 12 years older than me, moved to Spring Hill, which is like 45 minutes south of Nashville, about a year. No, I don't feel like it was a whole year, maybe like a few months before I moved here. And so I moved in with him and for the first 8 months, and that was fine, but he didn't like it here. And he had a job where he was like working 24/7 and couldn't really meet new friends, couldn't have a
Yeah.
life. And so he ended up moving back after like a year and a half. And I moved in closer to Nashville because I was like, man, this 45-minute drive is like killing me in the traffic. It was just rough. So I moved into Nashville after like those 8 months. And so it was just me and Kyle, really, my brother. And we knew my mom had a friend here, and Lisa and Tommy were like really all that we knew when we moved here. But I really had to challenge myself to get out of my comfort zone, reach out to people on Instagram. And social media is kind of how I built my circle of friends, which sounds kind of normal now, I guess, but like back like 7 years ago is not, I felt like a weirdo, like reaching out to people. I was like, they're gonna think I'm so strange, but I just had no friends, you know? And it really, I still know almost all of those people now, so it really helped me a ton to do that.
Yeah, the social media internet age has kind of changed that's not that weird. And I mean, to kind of go along those lines, that's how Brian and I met. We met on Craigslist 15 years
No
ago. So
way.
like before
That's
Instagram
crazy.
was a thing. Yeah. He moved down to where we're based out of New Jersey. He moved down to
Uh,
New Jersey, put an ad up looking for a band, and I responded. And now
oh my gosh, that's
15 years
so
later,
cool.
here we are.
Heck yeah. I love to see that. That is so cool.
Yeah. So the internet works. That's
It does. Yeah, it
yeah.
does.
Yeah, but it's good that you had your brother to start and your mom's friends. You mentioned that, so like,
Yes.
um, it, you definitely you said it. You definitely challenge yourself by making the move to begin with, and having even just the few people help get your feet planted. Um, but yeah, no, and normally I like to go into how you knew that music was going to be that thing. Like, what was that like aha moment? You mentioned the Carrie Underwood, that
Yeah.
tour. Um, Leading up to that, how was like the theater programs in school? Like, did you do any of that stuff leading up to that Carrie Underwood moment?
Yeah, so I did like all the talent shows and stuff at school every year, sang at the basketball games, whatever, the national anthem. And I did one musical. My mom was actually the drama teacher, and it was a brand new program at our school because we I went to a K-8 and it's very small, and so my mom started the drama program, and the first musical was Bye Bye Birdie, so I played Kim McAfee in Bye Bye Birdie and did that. That said, I joined theater freshman year of high school, and it was just a lot for me. Like these kids were so talented, and I was like, I don't know that I want this to be like my full-time thing. I was on the volleyball team, and they just give their whole lives to it, which is incredible. And I just knew I wasn't ready for all of that commitment, like for theater. So I ended up not doing, but I kind of regret it. Not doing any of the theater, but I would love, that is one thing now that I'm like, I wish I had time to join like a community theater or something. Although the plays would have to be like ones that I love, like Mamma Mia or Legally Blonde, like stuff, my favorite ones. But I just think it'd be so much fun to be a part of. But there has always been that background, obviously, in my life. We've always gone like to New York and seen musicals my whole life, and kind of inspired something in there for sure.
Yeah. I was gonna say, so being that we're in New Jersey, we're very close to New York City, and
Yes.
well, not so much Brian, but like I grew up in the theater world, so that Broadway scene was huge for me too. And Legally Blonde was the last Broadway show I saw before COVID shut everything down. So
No
yeah, it
way.
was so good. But
So good. What's your favorite show? Do you have one?
um, so yes, I'm gonna I think I would have to say Rent,
Oh,
only because I saw it 11 times in 2 years. I was
so
so
yeah.
obsessed with it. Yeah. But I
Yeah.
think overall, once
That's
was
great.
oh
I saw
it.
that too.
I only saw it. I only saw it once, but
Yeah,
it
me too.
was like that probably left the biggest like imprint on me. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Rent I saw so many times that.
Yeah. No, Once is a really good one. I saw that, I don't know, I was like 14 whenever it was first out, I think. But yeah, I love a song from that musical. Falling Slowly is so good. But yeah, I love Wicked. That's my all-time. Now it seems cliche because now Wicked has the movie, but
Right.
Wicked has always been my favorite. I've seen it like 8 times, and not 11, but I've seen it like 8 times, and I never get tired of it. It's just always been a favorite before all the clout that it got now.
Yeah, yeah. I've never seen Wicked on Broadway, which is kind of surprising. So growing
Yeah.
up, my mom is a huge Wizard of Oz collector.
Oh,
She
wow.
actually has one of the largest collections of Wizard of Oz memorabilia like in the world. Like it's kind of crazy. Yeah,
Great.
I think she last we checked, she was like in like the top five of like individual
Whoa.
collections. Yeah.
Then you
Um,
have to go see it. That's like,
right. And I've
oh,
never seen it. Like, how have I never seen Wicked? And
yeah,
but now I feel like you said, I feel like I can't now because now
I
it's like
know.
the thing.
I know, and I'm going to New York this year, and I haven't seen it in a very long time. And I was like, I want to see Wicked next time we go. Well,
Yeah.
then the movie came out, and I'm like, all right, well, now I feel like the ticket prices are going to be skyrocketed. Everything's just going to be crazy, so I might have to wait like a few years.
Yeah. Maybe.
But
Maybe.
who knows? Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Uh, yeah. No, that's awesome. I could talk Broadway theater all day long.
yeah,
Um, yeah. Um, so let's talk about you more. So what, so the songwriting side of it. So kind of walk us through your process, what that looks like for you. With,
yeah.
yeah, just what that is.
Sure. So I've been writing since I was 16 or 15, um, but I've always co-written. That's like always been the thing. Until recently, I've written a few by myself, and I kind of challenge myself or like trick people when I go to writers' rounds and I'll sing one that just I wrote to see how people react and not say that I was the only writer on it. So then just to see the response, because I normally love co-writing and they've been good. I mean, it's been a good response. So I'm like, okay, I can do this because I'm more so of the artist and the singer, performer. That's like my favorite thing. That's my passion. And I do like writing too, and I really enjoy it. But there's, that I don't have that natural gift of writing. It's definitely a practice skill like that I have to keep practicing on, or just do often. And because there's some songwriters, it's just like anything that comes out of their mouth is perfect and it's a great song, but I'm just not that way. So, but yeah, I moved here. I didn't know what a publishing deal was. I didn't know that songwriting was so important and that most writers now, I mean, most singers now all write their music, co-write their music, whereas like long time ago, I feel that they didn't. It was just all the songwriters wrote the music, and that's kind of how it was. So when I moved here, that was kind of a shock that I was going to have to be writing all the time, and learning more about that world, which is fine. I'm glad that I did, and I love it now. But yeah, it was definitely interesting. I found that even to this day, I'm getting stronger with lyrics, and some days are better than others. But melodies seem to be more my thing than lyrics specifically, like coming up with the melodies in the songs and titles, bringing titles and ideas. So those are like my strengths in the writing room, I feel like.
No, you're right. I mean, back in the 90s or so, I mean, some of the biggest 90s country, I mean, George Strait, again, somebody that doesn't have a song that he wrote, at least one that
Yeah,
I'm, super familiar with. Garth Brooks, same way.
it's
And
crazy.
Nashville was just a spot where you had the best songwriters, you had the best singers, you had the best producers, the best musicians, and they all came together to create the song.
Yeah,
It was never, of one person does all.
no.
And that's kind of not till recently. And I wonder if it's just because there's not a lot of money. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like you're not getting paid for like record sales out the, like crazy. So, right. So like a songwriter, you got also sing and everything. And
I do it all. It's
right. Yeah. You need to
weird.
collect as much. You need to collect as
Yes,
a performer, as a songwriter, everything. So, uh,
yes.
yeah, it's a trippy world. And, but I'm kind of here for it because there are times that like there is no other singer than the person that's like either lived the emotion, that held the pen, that wrote the words. There is nobody else that can portray that in the right way. I mean, sure, there's great singers that can do it, but there's something about the emotion that can come out of somebody, especially like the song we're going to listen to here in the middle of the show. But like a song like that, you can't have another singer, right?
Oh, it's so true.
Right.
It is so true. I agree with you on that. And yeah, I am glad too. At first, when I moved here, I was not. I was like, are you kidding me? I just want to be on stage. Like, I just want to sing. I don't want to do all this other stuff. And now that I've learned to be like raw and actually like write my life and not just randomly write these like random songs that have nothing to do with me. Now I've come to enjoy it so much more, for sure. Like of rather than just writing whatever we want to write, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, you know, Brian and I have had this conversation a lot. That so I didn't come from the country background until within the last like 10 years. Actually, till meeting Brian was really what
Yeah.
drove me into this world. But so growing up, like all the punk bands and stuff that I listened to, you know, you wrote your own stuff. So like it was never, I didn't understand the concepts of a songwriter until like starting to dive into this. And um, the I remember listening to something that Tim McGraw was giving an interview, said he wrote a song, loved it, but he was like, you know what, it'll be better for, I think he gave to like Luke Bryan or something. I don't know, it's two like bigger name artists. And I was like, why would you do that? Take this song for yourself and, you know, whatever. But yeah, you're writing for, well, now, you know, you're writing for yourself, but back then you're
Writing for
writing
others.
for the best song. And
Yeah.
the I always really liked the that the egos were out of it, right? Like
Yeah.
yeah, you like Brian said, you writing the song, you're gonna give the most authentic, emotion driven version of it, but it might be a better song for somebody else. And the fact that
Yeah.
there was no ego, that was like the first thing that really drew me to country music as a industry, not just as a genre, but as an industry. I always like to ask too, do you remember the first song that you ever wrote?
You know, I wrote some song like when I was like 7 or 8. I don't remember how it goes, but I know that it's videoed on my mom's old iMac. And I don't remember it well, but the first song that I like actually wrote, because that was the first one I just like messed around with. But then when I was actually writing was my first single. It's not out anymore, but it was called Underneath the Stars. And that one was, yeah, it was the first song. I don't even know what to say about it. It was written about like New Year's Eve at my dad's house, like the party that we had, and it was all underneath the stars. And yeah, it was just like a silly song. And then we did a music video to it. And the best part is that the music video makes no sense with the song at all. Like it literally doesn't describe hardly anything except
Yeah.
in the song. I mean, it does some of it, but it's just funny. I look back on that video, I'm like, we could have done this so much better. Like, what was even the plan? I don't even know. But that was the very first actual song that I wrote.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think in the spirit of songwriting, this is probably a good time to take our break, play the song we're going to play for you, going from talking about the first song to the most recent. So why don't you go ahead and introduce it for us, and then we'll put it on and chat about it after.
All right, y'all. Well, you are going to listen now to Visiting Hours. Hey, I know it's been a while, and I've got so much to fill you in on. Mom teaches at the same school, and I finally made the big move, trying to make all my dreams come true. If you make friends with an angel, maybe they could let me in. Yeah, do me a favor, 'cause I wouldn't miss it. Been sitting here wishing they'd open those gates, even just for a minute. I'd be right on time, be the first one in line, and I'd show up with flowers if heaven had visiting hours. Change, there's been a lot of it. We've got another brother now, and he's 11. Granddaddy's hanging in there, and Dad's got some gray hairs. If you can meet up, just tell me where, 'cause I wouldn't miss it. Been sitting here wishing they'd open those gates, even just for a minute. I'd be right on time, be the first one in line, and I'd show up with flowers if heaven had visiting hours. Visiting hours. I'd give anything to see that smile and hug you one more time. Maybe you could ask God to leave on that porch light, 'cause I wouldn't miss it. Been sitting here wishing they'd open those gates, even just for a minute. I'd be right on time, be the first one in line. I'd show up with flowers if heaven had visiting hours. Yeah, I know it's been a while. I've got so much to fill you in on.
All right, so let's talk about visiting hours. First and foremost, what was the inspiration behind that song and ultimately putting it out as one of your newest singles?
Yeah, so Visiting Hours is like the most personal, raw song that I've ever written or recorded. My brother Jake passed away when I was 5, and I've just wanted to write a song about that for a really long time, but death is so weird to write about, and I didn't want to write this like heart-wrenching, sad song that makes you bawl your eyes out every time you hear it. I just wanted it to be, bittersweet kind of, and remembering like the memories with those, with that person, whoever it is, for whoever's listening. But really, I wrote it for me first, with Nicole Croteau and Chris Utley. I wrote it just like for me to have. There was no expectation of like, I'm going to put out a song about this, And once I got the idea of Visiting Hours or Waiting Room, we were like tossing it all around. Visiting Hours stuck. And so that just, I don't know, we wrote it and I was like, this is such a good song. And then I was like, okay, I think it needs to be a single because people could probably, feel healing with this or relate to this a lot. And I started teasing it online. Well, first we went into production with it and we had to redo it a couple times because I just was like, it doesn't need a lot. Like it just needs to be so simple, like that, because everything else on the album kind of has a lot of stuff in it, except for Love You Long. That's the only other one that really doesn't have like a ton of production. But I was like, it just really needs to be so simple and like angelic and sound like it's from heaven. Super simple. So we went back and forth with it kind of a lot. And finally it stuck. I started teasing it on social media and I was like not prepared for the amount of videos on TikTok and Instagram, mainly on TikTok, but that it would have of, people showing their loved ones that had passed away. And honestly, it was like very emotional. I was not like, I didn't expect any of that. I really just expected people to connect with it. I wasn't thinking they were going to use it for videos, and I'm so glad they did. But I tried to go through and comment on like almost every one that I could. And it was just, really cool. I don't really know another way to describe it, to see a song that we wrote, make people really feel something special. So it's one of my favorite songs for sure.
Yeah, no. I feel like we should have put a warning before we played the song of like, make sure you grab your tissues.
I was just thinking that.
No, I mean, I congratulate you on a lot. This song it's so good. It's so relatable, unfortunately. And, but I really congratulate you on standing up for the song. You're right. I mean, I speak of this many times. It's probably in every single podcast, right? That, I love when there's, I feel like there's more to the musicality and the emptiness or the lack thereof actual instruments. I feel like there's so much more meaning. There's your voice stands out. The story gets portrayed so much nicer than stacking it up with a bunch of production.
Yeah.
When I first listened to the song, um, you know, it's a sad song. It's a, about losing somebody and that hope. I had lost a family friend only a couple of months ago, so this one really hit me nice. And then, watching the music video, as a parent of two was earth shattering. It was such a really great music video, amazing song. As sad and as emotional as it is, it's so good. And it's like it's heart healing, because sometimes you want to feel that, right? You want to feel that pain and that hurt and that angst, and it just and that's part of the healing. So it's such a great song. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that. It definitely, even though it was written for my brother, and even the verses are more geared towards my life, even when I sing it, my grandma passed away last year, and I was playing a show in November at Ole Red, and I was singing this, and I was thinking of her. I wasn't, it can be about whoever you're thinking of, and because on stage, and it broke me down. That's the only thing about that song is
I was just gonna ask, how do you do that live?
It's sometimes I've learned how to be able to block out my mind, my everything, and be able to get through it. But also, I don't want to look like I'm not connected to the song and not emotional towards it, because I am, but I can't break down every show, so. But that one, sometimes it just hits different, because I was playing that show, and I was just remembering my grandma was sitting right there the year before, but she's not there anymore. So I was just oh, it just hit me so hard.
Yeah.
It's a tough one on stage, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So I always talk on the lyric side of things, the content of the songs, the meanings. You mentioned you're going back and forth between visiting hours, waiting room, kind of those concepts. When you mentioned that, I had to look it up. So one of my favorite non-country bands is a band called Real Friends. They're like a emo pop punk type band. They have a song called Waiting Room that came out on September 20th. So the fact that that was the release of your album, granted, I think this song came out a little before that on its own, but for the
that's crazy though.
For the two to, I don't know what made me think of that, but made me look it up, but yeah. So
hey, that's crazy.
Yeah, needless to say, this is one of those songs that people need, and it's meant to come into the world and into people's lives when it does, and I mean, just the content of we all wish for that, right? For being able to have that extra time, even just those couple minutes, and we've been doing this podcast for a while, and I think this might be one of my favorites so far. So that's
that's a huge compliment. Thank you so much. Thank you.
But so kind of taking the sadness away a little bit. Visiting Hours was off your debut album of Off the Record, which I mentioned, released September 20th of 2024 here. So kind of first, how has the response been since the record's release? How's everything been going with that release?
It's been going good. I was very nervous putting out a full-length album as an independent artist. It's so scary, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get any playlisting, and because that's just such a main big thing in the industry, and so I was nervous, but I was like, you know what, I don't even care anymore. I'm doing this because I want to do it, and if it flops, it flops. If it doesn't, great. I'm kind of just I've wanted to do an album for so long. I've had fans asking me to do one for so long that it just felt like it was time. And I had all the songs, and we wrote towards some of them, but I was like, we have all these songs that are just being singles, and I feel like they could all be put together. And while I have the control of doing, everything I want and picking every song I want and picking all the branding and everything, I wanted to go ahead and do that. So it's had a good response so far. I've been very glad. Actually, tomorrow, when will this be posted? Before I say this.
This Friday, it'll be on the 31st. So this Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, whoever's listening will get to hear this early. But we are recording tomorrow like a whole full-length live acoustic version of the album that we'll be releasing like one or two a month for till the end of the year. So I'm very excited about that. We're just going to keep the album alive and keep it going because I just worked so hard on it that I don't want it to be, pushed to the side after 3 months. So we're going to keep rolling with it. But it's definitely been super fun to go on the road and play these new songs, and people's response, they've loved them. So that's really cool. It's always kind of scary though to play new music, no matter if it's an album or a single, whatever, anywhere. So it's been nice to have a good response.
That's awesome. We love albums here on
Yeah.
the podcast. I mean, it's like you get, I don't know. I feel like the oversaturation of singles is like, it's just, I don't know. There's something about like a full album that is just so good. Something to really dive into an artist with. Like, sure, you could throw on the Spotify, this is blah, 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 playlist, but something that, you can really learn who the artist is, right? Through an entire project, an entire album,
Yeah.
to really see. And then I love the idea of an acoustic album. I'm an acoustic guitar player. So like anytime I hear about an acoustic thing, I'm like, yep, that's me.
Like, perfect.
So yeah, I love that. I love the new life that happens after when songs are turned acoustic. I mean, everybody likes Unplugged, right? Everybody loved Nirvana's Unplugged. Nirvana's like normal stuff was awesome, and then all of a sudden it Unplugged, and you're like, "This is awesome," right?
Cool to hear the live, just like broken down how it was written version.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm excited. I'm very excited about that. We're doing that tomorrow all day. It's like going to be acoustic guitar, fiddle, and cajon, and just chill. Yeah, I'm excited for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very interested, having listened through this record a bunch since it's released. There's some pretty rocking, some pretty moving songs on here. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. But that's it, right? That's how you wrote them, right?
Yeah. Most of
It's
them, yeah.
bringing them back to its roots. That's what I don't know. That's pretty cool. And yeah, we're like you said, we're big fans of albums. And I did see, I was scrolling your Instagram the other day, and I saw that you had it pressed on vinyl. So I'm a big vinyl fan, so I'm glad to see that happen.
I was so excited for that. And also, it's literally called Off the Record. I was like, I cannot not do an acoustic version of these, acoustic, a vinyl of this album. That's just a missed opportunity.
Right.
And I've come to love vinyls. And so I really just wanted one for myself, honestly. But it's been cool. People really like them, and they've come back to being a thing. Like CDs are cool, whatever, but no one's cars hardly even have a CD player anymore, so they just don't sell as well. But vinyls, people like them. I was very, very excited about getting those.
Yeah. I've unfortunately, it started with one like 2-3 years ago, and now my collection's up to 850. So
Whoa.
it's
Great.
it's a problem.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah,
Heck
no, it's
yeah.
wonderful, but it's a problem. Um, yeah,
I love it.
yeah. So we kind of talked a little bit about performing live before, when we were talking about visiting hours and what that kind of looks like. But you keep a pretty packed schedule. You're playing quite a bit. What does a live show look like for you? What can people expect when they come see you?
Well, you're going to expect me to be asking you to be fun and loud and sing along because otherwise it's not as fun. And I really thrive off of an audience's energy. So if they're not having fun, then it's harder for me to put on a show where I'm having fun. I can, but it's just harder. And so they're going to expect me to ask them a lot of questions, be very engaged with them, have them singing and dancing, and really just having a good time. I love just big energy on the stage. I'm doing an acoustic tour with my friend Kelly Bells at the end of February. That'll be a little different because it's acoustic, but I still love people having a good time. People just sitting down staring at me is really awkward. So I just like anyone to be able to have fun, not just sit and look at me for an hour. So yeah, just a good time.
Yeah. So uh, Kelly, right? Kelly Bell. So she was actually just here in Philadelphia like a month ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were talking with her and getting
Yeah.
her set up, and then we're like, oh, good, we'll do it like when you're like near town, and then
Yes.
it just happened to be like right before the holidays or something that it just didn't work out, but that'll be fun.
Great.
She's a heck of an artist too, so that'll be a
She
good run with you. Yeah.
Yeah, she's one of my best friends, and we did one last January, February, like some shows. And it was so much fun. So I'm just excited to go back. It's really just fun for us because we just get to hang out for like 2 weeks, and have a good time, go play a show, and then go eat and have, sleepovers every day. So it was pretty fun for us.
Yeah, I mean that's why you do it, right? It's for the
Yeah,
food and the sleepovers.
exactly. Especially the food. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So I know we're in January here, but I did want to kind of go back to the holidays. So you this past Christmas, you released your first original Christmas song,
Yes.
A Little Christmas. How you kind of take us through that process, how that came to be for you, the deciding to write a Christmas song, that whole process. Yeah.
Yes, so we actually wrote it in June of 2023. We were writing it specifically to be pitched for Hallmark movies. We wrote like three different Christmas songs, and then nothing really happened. I never recorded it, whatever. I don't know. It's time. When you do a Christmas song, you got to do it like 6 months in advance. And it is so, I don't know why it just feels like so annoying because Christmas is so far away that it just feels dumb to do it so far away. But anyway, because of that, I didn't get to it in time that year. And I think I did last Christmas, or maybe I didn't do a Christmas one the year before. I don't remember. But then I was like, that's kind of catchy. I kind of like that. Maybe I will release it this year. And I did. And I didn't really put any pressure on this song either because I was like, the album just came out. Original Christmas songs are kind of like hard to push out because everyone likes the classics, including myself. So I understand. But it did so good at all the live shows. Like everyone loved it. And then I actually just recently saw, and I need to post this, but I just haven't gotten around to it, I guess. But it has like almost 1 million streams on Pandora, which is crazy. It's like my most streamed song is my Christmas song, so which is super cool. But yeah, I logged into my distributor website one day and was like, where are all these numbers coming from? And it was Pandora. So super cool, super thankful to anybody that's gone and listened to it. I've had some fans tell me they're still listening to it, even though it's not Christmas anymore, which is kind of the goal. I love Christmas music, but I still want it to be like catchy and country. So yeah, it's done really good. It was really cool to be able to do that.
So I'm going to make a very generalized comment, and I'm
Okay.
sure there's going to be some people who hear this that are not happy with my response here, but I feel like Pandora is like our parents streaming,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
like that would make sense
Yeah,
that Pandora would be where any holiday song,
yeah,
typically who listens to holiday songs more is probably our parents. And
yeah. And stores also. Like I read that like I guess a lot of stores, hair salons, nail salons, like they mostly use Pandora. And I was like,
uh,
interesting. And Pandora did playlist it on like three different playlists and thank you, shout out Pandora. But yeah, it was crazy. I was like, wow, Pandora. I had no idea, you know? Super cool.
yeah, yeah, no, that's awesome. And yeah, for you're right. It's hard for a Christmas, an original Christmas song to really gain traction
Yeah.
even in the calendar year of its release, right? So like
Yes.
we we have we've had somebody on the podcast a few times. She's come back a few times. The first time she was on was probably in our early 20s of episodes, like long
Yeah.
Ooh,
time ago. And she released a Christmas song that year, this past Christmas. So it would have been, what would that would have been
Year and a
2019,
half. Yeah.
2020. And this past year she had it in a, I don't think it was Hallmark, but it was a
good
some
movie.
feature film of like a
Yeah.
holiday film. So yeah, like
Oh,
it's one of those weird things that specialized, and I'm going to
yes.
use that word, I don't know if that's the right word, but a specialized song like a holiday song, um, it grows its legs as it continues to be out there.
Yeah,
So
which
yeah,
is so cool. I mean, it's like it gets new life every year,
yeah,
which is awesome because really none of the other songs get that. They can because there's always new people to hear a song. Like you can always keep growing the song. I even posted earlier on Instagram like "She Ain't Me," which came out almost 3 years ago. So it still can have new life, but there's something different about the holiday songs. It's like,
Right.
because people, I mean, we all listen to Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree every single Christmas. Like, you know what I mean? They
It's
keep,
like peaks and valleys. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's kind of cool.
yeah. All right, so you mentioned this week getting back in the recording off the record acoustically. Um, Anything else coming down the line you want to touch on? I know it's only early 2025 here, but what's coming on down the line for you?
Well, I mean, I'm doing the acoustic album, so that's like the main thing. That'll be released once, one or two songs a month, to keep that Spotify algorithm because that's so important. And I'm not doing a new song a month. I just did 12, so I'm not doing that. But so doing that, going on that tour with Kelly. If you're in Texas and you're listening, we're coming to a lot of places throughout Texas and North Carolina and DC. So we'll be out there, and then really just playing. I'm gonna focus on playing a little bit more in Nashville this year. I hardly played at all here last year, so I kind of want to stick around a little bit. Just started playing at Category 10 downtown Nashville, which has been super fun, and just maybe some new music later on in the year. So very excited. There's lots
Yeah.
of things happening.
No, that's awesome. And we definitely look forward to, following along. Speaking of following along, you want to let listeners know where they can follow along on all your socials and such.
Yes, you can follow me at Charlie Reynolds Music everywhere. It's Charly, no E in there, but Charlie Reynolds Music, and then YouTube is just Charlie Reynolds. And I'm hoping to start putting out more YouTube covers, just simple little cover videos. So if you want to see those, be sure to follow me on YouTube.
Awesome. Well, Charlie, we can't thank you enough. This has been fun getting to know you and
Yeah.
talk about off the record and getting to see the next step of off the record here. So, yeah, we can't wait to follow along and see where this crazy journey takes you.
Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate you having me on. So thank you very much.
All right, so that was our interview with Charlie Reynolds. Yeah, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Pretty long. We talked to her for quite a while there. I do have to own a bit of a mea culpa, I guess is the right phrase if I'm using that right. I mentioned the song Waiting Room by Real Friends. My dumbass brain was looking at her album when I mentioned it. So they were not released on the same day, but they were very close. They were only about 2-3 weeks apart, but they were not the same day. Yeah. I should fact check my checks before I. Yeah.
No, man. Otherwise, she was awesome. That was real fun. What I really liked about it is she stands up for herself. She takes control of her career. She takes control of the things that she wants and how she wants her music to come out and the whole marketing campaigns behind each one. I think that's smart, man. I think that, she's running it like a business, and that's exactly what a career in music should be. Yeah, I'm excited for the acoustic album.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you're right. The having control, as we talked about, the songwriter turned artist turned social media manager turned, doing everything in-house compared to, a couple years ago. You have to, you're your own boss, right? So taking control the way she has and having the support system that she's had to be able to do that has, obviously it's making a difference. It's allowing her to achieve the things she wants to and to continue to do that.
No, man, like I said, I'm here for it. I'm excited to see what else she has coming down the line. But yeah, we definitely want to thank Charly for coming on Outside the Circle. Make sure you go and follow her on all of her social media music listening platforms. We leave you today with another track from Charly Reynolds, People Think.
That I'm rich, but this Louis is as fake as it gets. They say to slim down, girl, you could stand to lose a few pounds. No matter what they gonna talk, I guess you just can't please them all. So let them think I'm crazy, raising hell on Saturday. I can be a lady, sipping on some champagne all night. People think. They think I talk dumb just 'cause I'm too blonde. They're just waiting on something to go wrong. Say I got it easy, but I've been knee deep. They would know if they tried to get to know me. So let them think I'm crazy, raising hell on Saturday. I can be a lady, sipping on some champagne all night. I make those heads turn, eyes roll, dressed to the nines. I guess it is a real good thing that I don't care what people think. No. Hey. Now I ain't stressing that I'm on their mind, 'cause they damn sure ain't on mine. So let them think I'm crazy, raising hell on Saturday. I can be a lady, sipping on some champagne all night. I make those heads turn, eyes roll, dressed to the nines. I guess it is a real good thing that I'm a little crazy, straight out of a country song. Living lately, baby, like tomorrow's gone. I'll make those heads turn, eyes roll when I walk. I guess it is a real good thing that I don't care what people